Well, welcome back, folks. Hope you're doing fine. I just got back from the Home Depot where I spent part of my life savings buying a few pieces of treated lumber. This is the last load the old deck on this trailer's gonna haul, because right now it's currently hauling its brand new deck. I bought this trailer new back in 2007 and it's had about 15 years of use, and the deck is rotted in areas, a little loose, and I don't want to fall through it or have anybody else fall through it, so I'm going to go ahead and replace it with some treated wood. I'm going to go ahead and offload this wood into my garage, and then I can start with tearing off the existing deck on the trailer. I've got the planks for the new decking taken off. The only thing I got to move now is the rebar that I have for another little project. And after I get that moved, I'll go ahead and start ripping off the deck. With 15 years of rust on this thing, I think I'll go ahead and give it a shot of PB Blaster, let it set for an hour, come back and see if I can back them out with a screw gun. If not, we might need heat. Only time will tell. I've had that PB Blaster on for a couple of hours now, but it seems that that rust is just a little bit more stubborn than I am. These heads are a T25 Torx bit, but not only is it rusted in the threads, it's also rusted a little bit inside the Torx bit. And when you put them in there, it's just wanting to spin in the Torx bit. So I'm gonna have to approach this a little different way. I have my skill saw. What I'm going to do is set my depth of blade just shy of going all the way through this decking material, because there's a couple of steel members under that I don't want to hit. So I'm going to cut it across at each one of these sets of screws. There's 3 rows of screws that I've got to cut on, and then I can just take this wood out, and then I'll figure out how to get the rusted screws out. Make sure when you set the depth that your saw is off. That way we don't lose fingers. We will set it right in here. Now I know dimensional lumber is 1.5 inches. You could hold your tape measure up there and make it just under 1.5 inches, but that's new dimensional lumber. This old stuff can dry up and shrink, so it's always good if you've got a gap in there to set your saw down in there and make sure the blade is above the bottom, because this could actually shrink 1/16 of an inch. You'll end up running your saw blade into metal and all kinds of happy things happen. Well, I've got the deck off the trailer. Now I'm going to see about getting all those screws out of there. I'd like to put the new screws back in the original holes. I don't want to add extra holes if I don't have to. So I'll probably try a little more PB Blaster. I sprayed all these screws down with PB Blaster yesterday afternoon. Then I got busy with another project. So this morning I went ahead and sprayed them down again. And then I took a hammer, sometimes on rusted bolts, when it's rusted into other metal. If you take and spray some type of a PB Blaster or liquid wrench, something like that on top and let it set, if you tap the top of it, the vibration can loosen it up and help you to unscrew the thing. So I went around and tapped all the top of these things, and I tried one and it is starting to come out. I broke a couple yesterday, but I'm going to go ahead and try and unscrew all these that'll unscrew. Whichever ones I can't, I'll go ahead and drill them out. No matter what method you use to try and remove rusted screws from metal once they've been run over road salts for a few years, you're going to approach it and have varying degrees of success. Rather than make a career out of trying to do this, I'm going to go ahead and take my grinder and cut them off and re-drill the holes. It's just easier than doing half of them one way, half of them another, and then having to drill them out anyway. So I'm going to get after it. I'm back out here today working on the trailer deck. I'm going to go ahead and drill out the holes where I cut the screws off, and then I'll get nuts and bolts to put back in their place when I put the decking back on. This trailer had 13 2x6s on it and one 2x4. 2x4 was closer to the center, so I'm going to put the 2x6s on either side until I get to that, and the 2x4 will be the last piece I put in. All the holes have to be drilled out through the bottom, through the metal, into the planks. The problem we have is some of the wood is a little warped, so it's kind of hard to hold the wood in place and then drill the hole. So I'm going to show you how to fix that. The way to fix that problem is to use your ratchet strap as an extra hand. Just stick it around the board you're trying to get up here, because we can pull it in, but it won't stay. But just put it in there, pull it good and tight, and now we can drill our hole. Just crawl on under here. We got it done. Now we'll just put the carriage bolts in. Instead of the screws, I'm going to put these carriage bolts in. I'm using the rounded tops. They got square right under the head here, and that'll help hold them in place as I tighten up the nut on the end of it. I've already got a couple of them installed here. I'm going to go ahead and drill this out, put the carriage bolts in, and tighten them down. On the back end of this trailer there's a C-channel. It's about 1.5 inches, 2 inches deep that these deck boards will slide into to hold the back down. I will put my bolts in down through the top of the wood, and the nuts and lock washers will hook to the bottom of this angle iron. There's 3 rows of screws holding it down in front of that. There's just one in the middle of each one of these on these first 2. But all the way up at the front, there's 2 of them holding them to the L channel. Well, I've got it finished. The deck's completely on, bolted down. Looks pretty good. We got a little snow last night. It melted off. That's why you use treated wood. And there you go. With this new deck, I'll be using this trailer to haul up materials for my off-grid cabin in the Upper Peninsula in the spring. Just makes everything a little safer. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also, check out some of my other videos. If you like them, consider subscribing. and hit the little bell. It will notify you when I have future videos come out. Thanks for watching, and God bless.